Hey YouTube, how you doing today? Hope everything's going well with you. I actually had something else to talk about today, but for some reason I felt like I needed to discuss something that's been bothering me. I mean, yeah, it's been bothering me for a while now. I would say for the last 3 or 4 years. Um, it's about the female condition we got going on. I have a daughter, okay, and I'll probably talk about her. We'll probably talk about it in the other stuff, but anyway, so I have a daughter, okay, and I'm raising her, not to be, I think she's pretty, just some pretty face, or body, but more, have more to offer than that because you know, let's face it, even myself, in the past have objectified ladies to the extent that, you know, honestly, you sometimes that they're talking and you're just looking at the boobs, whatever they assets, instead of actually paying attention to what they have to say. And I don't know if we're not necessarily taking them as serious as maybe we should. And, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just a natural guy thing or, with age you get better. I mean, I've definitely gotten better as I've gotten older. Um, but with that being said, it seems like the last few years, especially, because I don't really remember this as a kid or a teenager, or even as a young adult, where like I was out, we do some stores, and I'm looking at the store, the magazines covers, and they have, the ladies, what I'm saying, they're successful entrepreneurs, and they have done this and done that, and they've done very well for themselves, which is awesome. And but I look at their pictures and their, I guess, centerfold or whatever it's called. And it seems like every time, I wouldn't say maybe every time, but I would say high. I would say close in 95 to 98% of the time that these ladies, instead of them, when I was kid, if I would, you see a successful lady on the cover of a magazine, she had on a business suit, she had on a laptop or glasses, I mean, I'm sorry, I know that's probably stereotypical and things of that nature, but yeah, they wanted to portray a certain professionalism, because they didn't want to be objectified because they seem to understand that as a female that's going to be the case sometimes. I mean, right or wrong, but that's going to be the case where there's just going to be some dudes like myself at times that just see like, okay, you're a girl, you're a female, well, we're going to be really bad. Yeah, yeah, you're just some girl, pretty face, and you slept your way up top, or you just have this job because you're a pretty face. And back then, especially, they didn't want no parts of that narrative. And so they did everything they could to stray away from that. Now, did that have some, I guess, consequences? Maybe. Yeah, sure. Maybe they weren't looked at, say, maybe as objectified. I don't know. I mean, I guess we all, as a species, or as a man or a woman, even though we might, you know, try to portray a certain image, I guess we all want to be looked at, in a a flattering. I mean, yeah, I mean, both sides is flattering, but you also want both sides of the fence, meaning flattering, intellectually because they think you're smart, but also, flattering because, they think you're hot or sexy and all that kind of stuff. I think we all want that, you know. And so I guess these ladies back then, um, they were not as looked at as feminine as other uh, people, and I think maybe guys didn't look at them in that type of way. Maybe they gained respect in the workplace just for being such a and some of them just overdid it, I guess, and really took it to the next level of trying to be so um, business oriented that maybe they lost some of the appeal, I guess. So it seems like that my generation of ladies that are now they're kind of railing against that, and so you see them, you see them posing, and they got these sexy looks on their face, and their clothes are revealing, and there's a tight dress, and you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. No signs of what they actually do. You just see them posing. You're like, well, what does she do? You're thinking that they're a model, or you're thinking maybe, who knows what, you're thinking, but they don't have anywhere where you can see what they actually do. You got to look into it more. But they're and throughout the whole, I guess, article that they're written about, they're always in some kind of sexy pose and things of that nature. And then I get it, sex sells. But what's going on now is that it's starting to be objectification again. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of problems I have with this. And the first problem I have is you get upset when somebody talks about your boobs or your butt, but the first thing you want to do is want to have it out. And I get it. I mean, because they always will use, shouldn't be looking, but I own a business, and if I get on a cover of a magazine, they're not going to have me walking around in a G-string, you know what I mean? Or anything, or any male in that matter, no matter how good looking he is or whatever else. They're not in these sexy poses. Sure, they might have on a nice suit but it's always more professional. And that's the thing, is that, ladies are thinking that they're I guess, but they're falling into a trap that they're not getting. And the trap is that, yeah, that's objectifying yourself. That's no, they're thinking, well, I can be this and I can be that. Yes, you can. But you can be that and just wear regular clothes and just don't overdo either side, you know? But they want to have, oh, I want my clothes out, I want to get my boobs done and this and that. But I don't want people to say anything about it. I don't want people to notice that I got my boobs out. I don't want guys to look at it, you know what I mean? But then when you don't, in their mind, they're like, well, because it's obvious that they want to be looked at that way. Why aren't you looking at me? It seems like they're in some kind of, I don't know, some kind of dilemma or confusion about who they are. And um, another reason that I have that bothers me is that all of these women, well, most of them on these covers, doing these sexy poses and everything else, they're mothers. And it's not old school. it's a fact that kids don't want to see their mama on the cover of a magazine laying out looking like they about to have sex or meet, on Valentine's night after a hot day. They want to see their mother, portraying a motherly role, portraying professionalism, portraying all kinds of things, but definitely not laying up in there with the clothes out, especially guys, especially boys. You know, I'm sure, well, my mom, guys would say things about my mom. Oh, wow, she's cute. Or man, damn, Aaron, your mom's cute. And, that bothered me, you know. So I can't imagine what these kids feel like, you know, especially if their friends are really gangster and crazy and have a picture of their mom and like some kind of centerfold pose and stuff like that. That's gotta do something to these kids' mind. And not only I would think that it kind of has them look at them maybe in not as respectful way as maybe they should, but it also for men especially, I'm sure it carries on to the females that they end up dating because they're seeing their mom laid out and looking all sexy. I'm sure that it has effect on the looks that or the idea of how to treat their mate, you know. So I'm just having some issues with that. You know what I mean? What I think. Do I think that the ladies should maybe go back to walking around in a suit and trying to be all super business? No, I don't think so. But I definitely don't think this is it either. I think, just like us guys, we portray ourselves. And, when you see them usually probably in an everyday setting, they're not walking around and that stuff. So why not just portray yourself? And then just like the females, the other ones that were all in suits, they're, doing a regular day. They're not walking around like that either. They're trying to, just be yourself. I think, somewhere in the middle, there's got to be that common ground where, okay, maybe, there was some women that had those suits on that were pretty, but they just overdid it with, trying to look all, you know, not sexual. But there is Janae Monet, I think her name is. She used to walk around in suits and stuff, and yeah, she's a cute girl. You know what I mean? So I think I think right now, we're just going through a crazy phase where it just seems like our ladies, our females, are just not all of them, but many of them, especially successful, are going through this phase where they're kind of, I guess, sort of thinking that they're doing manly things, and so they have to overdo or overcompensate for their manly activities, such as making business deals, transactions, and things like that, with overly sexualizing themselves on with their clothing, with their actions. And I just hope that our next generation, my daughter, and she seems kind of not to get into all that kind of stuff, and I see a lot of her friends are more going back to those things, but being more importantly, just finding a way to be comfortable and living within yourselves, because either way it's not really you. You're not over, nobody's just super sex and nobody's super business. Everybody's just who they are. So what do you think? Do you think that the women are now, do you like this, them dressing, those business ladies on these covers? dressing up as in sexy poses, or do you like the old school where they were all in, suits and, you know, more professional sessions? Let me know what you think. All right. Take care.